Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the briefing for Thursday, the 26th. So the chart is a little bit of a mess this morning. We've got this low pressure out to the west, and this trough line just painted on down slightly to our southwest. This is midday. Loads of occlusions around, but luckily we seem to be in this gap here where there's not too much going on. Just rolling it back overnight, you can see there was a couple of occlusions going through, depending on how you interpret this, which brought the rain we had last night. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a slow start with some lingering drizzle and low cloud, but it shouldn't actually be too long, hopefully, before we are in this gap and it's quite clear. Going ahead to tomorrow, potentially a reasonable outlook, probably quite unstable with all these trough lines around, but hopefully a reliable day. And going into the weekend, low pressure continuing to move in, winds increasing by the looks of it, but at the moment, Saturday looking like it's probably going to be usable. Winds today looks like from the southwest about 15 to 20 knots at flying height. And the sat peak at the moment is showing lots of showers up to the north and sort of around to our east and fairly close to us. And looking sort of more in the Lasham area, you can see sort of this lingering cloud, but looking to the southwest, quite a clear picture by the looks of it, which should be headed our way. You can see the remains of this occlusion that went through overnight. Lots of rain quite near us still, but that is going off to the northeast, so should be clear of us soon. And now looking at the rainfall forecast, we can see it getting further away from us. But as we do go into the afternoon, you see these showers start to develop down to the southwest. And it looks like they'll probably be potentially arriving here from about 1 to 2 o'clock. Maybe a little bit later if we're lucky. But quite likely we'll catch a couple of showers in the afternoon. As usual, quite difficult to predict exactly where they're going to end up. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go throughout the day. Public forecast, quite optimistic now. It's showing sunny intervals all day. Temperature peaking at 14 degrees, relatively light wind from the southwest, and good visibility from about midday. But notice relatively low visibility this morning, and humidity sat well above 90% until midday. So gut feeling is it's probably going to take until at least 11 or around about 11 before the cloud gets out of our way and we can go flying. GFS is showing 14 degrees, dew point sat at 9 or 10. And that's the current view outside. The camera's wet, so you can't see very well, but very low cloud at the moment. Similar picture to what we had yesterday morning, or maybe not quite as bad. Currently 10 degrees at Lasham, with dew points just under 9. Okay, Farnborough's latest report half an hour ago was scatter clouds at 300 feet, broken a little bit higher. Their forecast, they've put in general here, scattered at 1,000. There was a tempo here up until 10 a.m. for broken clouds at 400, heavy rain and drizzle. But after that, they seem to think it's going to be better. They've put a prop 40 here of 600 feet up until midday. But generally the afternoon looking better, but they have put here rain showers. A little bit closer, Odium I expect is pretty similar. So their last observation half an hour ago, few clouds at 800, so about 600 above Lasham. And looks like their forecast is very similar. So they've put here from midday onwards, scatter clouds at 1,400 feet, and then 2,000 feet later on. And then few NIMS and rain showers later on. Top Meteo was quite pessimistic yesterday, so we'll look at it with a pinch of salt, but it looks like they think the clearance isn't going to get here until about 1 p.m. This is 1 p.m. here, and it's showing sub 2,000 feet clouds with mist possible. Going back a couple of hours, it's showing it to be pretty much unflyable. But yesterday, this got it wrong, and it was a couple of hours too late for the clearance. So we'll take that as 11 o'clock. Okay, no NOTAMs today. Operationally, we're going to go with 2.7. So I don't think the crosswind should be too much of a problem. We're going to set up the launch point on the runway, slightly offset to the north side. and that's going to allow us to launch gliders off the runway itself as it is very wet. We'll have the winch down here somewhere, and we'll be using the booms with the retrieve truck to bring the cables down the grass. When you position your gliders for the winch, make sure you leave a little gap to the south side on the tarmac for the retrieve truck to drive past. So don't put your wingtips right the way up to the edge of the grass. Otherwise it gets a bit difficult. Aerotone will be off the north side of the runway. Okay, you probably realised by now we haven't got any even group, so put your gliders away in the afternoon. And we have got one movement today. We've got a 737 MAX, which I believe is the first time we've got that type coming in. Let's hope they've fixed the MCAS on this one. Coming in supposedly for midday, so we'll keep an eye on that. Will probably be timed just as we're starting to go out flying, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, you can get the gliders out if you want. Probably best waiting a little bit, but we'll see you on the airfield soon. Bye for now.